So, yesterday I did CinemaCon 2023 with Sony, and now we're going to jump into Warner Brothers and give you my ranking based on my excitement. So, let's go. Coming in last place is, of course, Barbie. Now, this is a movie that I was like, who on earth asked for this? I'm not really quite sure why this is happening, but the trailers I got, I'm like, what on earth is this? Just what on earth is this movie? But this is a movie, I'm really not sure how this is gonna go, but this looks so good, it's so bad. But I like Margot Robbie, I like her as an actress, I loved her as Harley Quinn, but this, I'm like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. You have Ryan Gosling, Simu Liu, Michael Cera, Will Ferrell, Emma McKay, and you have Dua Lipa. Or as I like to say, Dua Lipa. That's kind of a funny way to say it. This course is being directed by Greta Gerwig. It doesn't look all that good to me. It looks miserable. But some people actually are believing that it could be good, but for me, I don't think so. Next on The Courage 4. Now, to be clear, I've never really been a fan of the Courage franchise, but the last one, The Courage The Devil Made Me Do It, received mixed reviews. Okay, and it's also being directed, it'll be written by, this one will be written by David Leslie Johnson, Nick Goldrick, and it will be produced by James Wan and Peter Safran. Okay. But I just need to know who's gonna be in it. This was reported last year in October 2022. And now this is all we got. I've never been a huge fan of The Courage. And a lot of it was supposed to be just a deal that they wanted to scare me off. So yeah, more of The Courage. But I'm just not really a Courage guy. So this one's lower on the list. Next up, The Nun 2. Now, The Nun really didn't receive very good reviews from critics and audiences. But we do know that it was announced back in 2022 that Michael Chavez will direct the film, and photography began on April 29th, 2022. Bonnie Arendt is confirming to reprise her role as Valak. Okay, I think I said that right. But it just looks, it's screaming at me. It might haunt your nightmares. So yeah, moving on. Next up, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Now, with that, this is the final movie of the DC EU, because this is gonna be the one that's gonna end it all, because they're going to reboot the universe. And so the writer and director are returning, and of course Jason Momoa is back in Aquaman, so yeah, more Aquaman. And we don't have a trailer for it, but a couple months back there was a test screening and it was very, very bad. And the reason I'm not interested in this movie is because of Amber Heard. Yes, Amber Heard. Do you know how, she's been having a bit of a downfall. They kept her in the movie, and she's the reason why she's, the criticism of this movie. The first Aquaman was great, but ever since, Mara's casting, was, so controversial with Amber Heard because of Johnny Depp and Heard, as a couple that obviously kind of, is, ruining their careers, they still had a trial in which Amber Heard lost to Johnny Depp. And this is probably the reason I'm not interested. And this is the last time we're going to see Jason Momoa as Aquaman. So, this is a big, big no. And it's just disappointing that we're going to see Jason Momoa say goodbye to Aquaman. But the good news is that he'll be back to play Lava because he's interested in that character instead. But other than that, a huge, huge sadness in there. I really did like his casting, but Amber Heard is the reason why. So this one is very low on the list. Next up, Final Destination 6. Now, here's the thing. I never really liked all the Final Destination movies. And so, they pretty much have failed with critics. And either one of you who are making that movie likely isn't telling the truth. Unless you're those Michael Bay Transformers movies. Even if you're a fan of this, you gotta tell me which ones are good and which ones are bad. So this one, well, probably could suck with critics. Next up, The Meg, The Trench. Now, I really felt like this one was great. I didn't think The Meg was great, but I liked Jason Statham, and I think he was fun to watch. But it felt like a remake of Jaws. Yeah. And I really don't think we need a sequel because remember what the Jaws sequel did? And they were very bad. But if this one can be as scary as the last, I think it would be fun. But these are the type of movies that I hate. I hate underwater horror movies. Even if you were Jaws fans back in the days. Well, basically, I have a fear of water horror films. Next up, Wonka. Now, I don't know who in the world asked for this, but I don't really know that we needed a Wonka prequel because we got a little bit about it in Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory back in 2005. And Timothée Chalamet, who is fun to be with and a great actor, but why in the world him as Wonka? He's fun to see in Call Me By Your Name, Little Women, and Dune, but I really don't think he should be playing Wonka. Because we already seen some origins in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory a little bit, but origin stories I really like, but I'm not really feeling like this one is really quite interesting to me. I don't have any interest about it. I'm not really sure about it. And we have two versions of him now, Gene Wilder and Johnny Depp. And here's the thing, I always adored the 2005 version with Johnny Depp. And I really loved the book because it's a bit creepy. But I always admired the 2005 one, and I really don't think we really need this movie anyways. But it's being directed by the guy who did the Paddington movies. We also have Keegan-Michael Key in this movie. We also have Rowan Atkinson, Sally Hawkins, Olivia Colman, and Jim Carter as starring in supporting roles. And it's supposed to come out this Christmas. Yes, this Christmas. Now, I just think this could suck, but Timothée Chalamet is a great actor. But I just don't really know if we really need one of these movies. Next up, Furiosa. Now, this is the one I have very high expectations. And it was reported back in 2020 that George Miller was going to explore this character of Furiosa, and I'm really down with that because this is one I really kind of know. I mean, Furiosa we had a lot of fun with in Mad Max Fury Road, and Anya Taylor-Joy, who you know in The Menu, The Queen's Gambit, Split, and Glass, and Emma. She's very talented, and we're also getting Chris Hemsworth, awesome, Tom Burke, Nathan Jones, Angus Sampson, and also is going to be directed by George Miller, which I'm really excited about. And that's really good. Very, very good. Also having Yahya Abdul Mateen II also in, so very good. And which I really like what they did with Mad Max Fury Road, in which this is a movie that I'm not really quite sure because it's been a while since we had a Mad Max movie, but whatever. I don't care what will happen because I know that this is a Mad Max movie that I really like to explore characters and their origin stories. So this one is very high on the list. Next up, Blue Beetle. Now, I really wasn't sure about this because I never been a fan of this character growing up. But we did get a trailer, and the trailer looks very promising. It looks showing that there is some potential in there. I mean, this is supposed to be starting like the guy from Cobra Kai. Okay. I mean, the costume looks very good. It looks very good. And for sure, it really shows me that I am very excited to see this. And it is supposed to be connecting with the DC universe. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I'm still interested because after the first trailer, it definitely shows my potential. Next up, Beetlejuice 2. Now, this is a movie that's been in development hell for a very long time. As a matter of fact, back in the 90s, they were planning on doing a movie called Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian. However, Tim Burton obviously said that was kind of like an SNL, like, prank, I think. And plus, he really didn't want to do a sequel. But now, like 34 years later, he's interested in doing it now. Especially that Warner Bros. Is doing it with Brad Pitt's company, Plan B Entertainment. I mean, Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder have been talking about it for a very long time. And every time we get news about it, it looks like it's not going to happen. But now it looks like every news we get about it is like it's not happening. But now, recently back in March, there was reports started to speculate that Jenna Ortega is going to be in this movie. And I'm like, that definitely has my excitement because I really liked her in Wednesday. I mean, I really like what Tim Burton did with Wednesday. I just like how it was pure Tim Burton. I've always enjoyed Tim Burton as a director. Love some of his movies. Even if he did some bad ones. Well, maybe that could have some potential in there. But it does say that Burton and Keaton are expected to return with a potential summer day, either in late May or early June. Okay. And a movie that I'm not really quite sure because this one's been in development for a very long time. But with Burton, Ortega, and Winona Ryder in it, you have my potential, Tim Burton. Next up, Superman Legacy. Now, this is a movie that's going to kick off the new DC universe. And being written and directed by James Gunn. I mean, he's going to be done with Marvel and now could save the new DC franchise since he's the head of like DC Films. This one has a lot of potential right now, but I just need to know a cast that's like gonna be it, and there's gonna be the next Superman. But it is such a shame that we're gonna not see Henry Cavill as Superman anymore. In which it is such a shame. But but there is whoever could be like the next Superman could give a chance at it. I mean, we haven't gotten a Superman movie in like a very long time since Man of Steel. But this one, if we could do well, because James Gunn never missed. He never missed, and since he's the new head of the DC Studios, I'm all on board. Oh, oops. I'm sorry, I went too far. Our runner-up is Dune Part 2. Now, we're supposed to get a trailer about this tomorrow, and we're having like people from the original I enjoyed, but it was very slow paced. I mean, Chalamet is great. The cast was actually really good, and we are expecting Florence Pugh, Austin Butler, Christopher Walken, Léa Seydoux. Which my excitement, and Denis Villeneuve is returning as director. I'd like to see like the continuation of Paul and Zendaya's character, or as I call her, Zendaya. Okay, that was just a joke. That was just a joke. Okay, you probably might get it. So yeah, I never really read the book, but I do know that this is a movie that is very, very exciting to me because I like the first one, and this one can do well. I'm very, very promising, and I just can't wait to check out the trailer tomorrow. I might have a reaction about this video tomorrow, but if I don't, I'll share about this in another video. So, this one is the runner-up. But at number 1, The Flash. Now, WB has been trying to make a Flash movie for a very long time. But then, they finally locked in a script that they actually liked, and they announced that Michael Keaton, after over 30 years, is back as Batman. Now, if you don't remember, Tim Burton's Batman and Batman Returns were like part of your like early memories, because we were done with Superman movies. There were no Marvel movies coming out. I mean, they had Michael Keaton, and that was it. But now he's back as Batman. Wow, it is exciting. It's being directed by the guy who did It, Andy Muschietti, which is a cool name to say. And you're also having Supergirl in it, and there's got to be a little bit of Flashpoint thrown into the mix, and it's a multiverse movie. Awesome. And then there were the last 2 years of headlines because Ezra Miller was the biggest nightmare in cinematic history. But all in all, it was mental health issues that they've been going through. Apparently, they showed it at the CinemaCon. Apparently, it's really good. And so, this is the movie that I'm very excited to see. And it is supposed to like reboot the DC EU. But a movie that might not reset everything, But anyways, this is a movie that I'm very excited to see, and Michael Keaton is in it. We're also getting Affleck's Batman back. Like, he was happier. He's gotten like the bad taste Joss Whedon Justice League out of his mouth, so he's like willing to come back. And so, a movie that did have 2 years of headlines, but I'm not saying Ezra Miller is innocent. I'm not. I'm saying Ezra is a guilty person. But anyways, that doesn't mean I'm not excited for this, because Michael Keaton in the multiverse and who could appear in the movie. And so this comes in at number 1. And so that's it. And I believe next for CinemaCon is Disney, I think it could be Disney, or I might be wrong. Yeah, maybe it is Disney. Okay, so that's WB. Y'all have a good night. I guess I can just go watch something for now. So, all right. I'm Mr. Darth Vader.